guys, Silver Player 22 here, bringing you the second episode of Road to Silver Glory, or Silver Road to Glory, whichever way you want to call it. Now, this is obviously the series where we're going to start with practically nothing. We're going to work our way through the divisions, building and building and building until we have an awesome Silver squad that we kind of feel that we can have a really good run at Division 1 with, because I've never won Division 1 with Silver players. Well, purely silver players. Anyway, I've won Division 1 with gold teams with a few silvers in, but a pure silver team, I haven't actually done it. I've won Division 2, got into Division 1 and got battered. So this is our attempt at making a squad pretty much from scratch. We bought 10 silver packs. This is the best we could make out of it because the packs were pretty bad, I'm not going to lie to you. But obviously, you guys vote at the end of the episode and you tell me which players you'd like to put in. Usually, we're going to do you guys pick about 2 players and I'll pick a player just so that we get the chemistry. The first player that I've put in is Leon, and that's because he's Brazilian from the Portuguese league, and that's purely because of the right winger who you guys chose, which was Kelvin. Now, this was pretty much unanimous that you guys wanted. Not unanimous, but a lot of people wanted this guy. A lot of people wanted Zardes, but unfortunately he was going for 10k and I couldn't pick him up. And the other player really hurts me because you guys wanted me to put Perez in, and you know I'm a Sunderland fan, but if you guys want him in there, I'm going to put him in. And so I moved the team around a little bit, and this is what we picked. I went for a 4-3-3 attacking, put Kelvin and Perez into the team, and obviously the right back as well. Made it a little bit, I feel it makes it look a little bit more solid. Whether or not that translates into the actual games is another question. But yeah, this is the team. Obviously, at the end of the episode, we'll go through and we'll decide what areas we need to, improve further. Because as you can probably see, it's certainly a million miles away from perfect. And as we go into the first game, we come up against a guy who looks like he has a team that he doesn't look that impressive. He's got a bit of pace, Serie A team, but this guy, he caused me some serious trouble. Now, I obviously got to, as soon as you get a 5-star skiller, you've got to have a little bit of a go with him. And I was almost certain this was going in, but Kelvin's shooting isn't perfect in my opinion. But this guy just literally used that sort of abusive pace and strength, and it really irritated me because I don't think that was a penalty, to be honest. He scored the penalty, which is fine, I totally expected him to. But at this point, my defence sort of just capitulated, and I really struggled, to be honest, and he just went on an absolute flyer. I then went on, not ultra attacking, but attacking, and it just meant that Felipe Anderson and Babacar just had an absolute field day in the first half. This was one of the hardest first halves of FIFA I've ever had. I actually went 4-0 down, which is a score I very, very rarely see, which I was really disappointed with. Second half came, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pull this back. Did some really decent work on the wing. Kelvin obviously isn't the strongest in the air. We managed to get a goal back at about 79 minutes, which is fine, but unfortunately that was pretty much how it ended. Although I did think I was going to get one more goal at the end. You know what, in different circumstances, maybe if that penalty hadn't gone against me, I might have drawn something out of this game, but to be honest, he really was a very, very good player. And you just think, Division 10? I'm used to playing in Division 3 and stuff, and I don't usually get this big a hammer in. I know it's probably chemistry reasons. So I moved it around a little bit, not purely for chemistry, just because I didn't really enjoy playing the 4-3-3 attack. So we moved into a 4-4-2, which is fine. It does mean that Kelvin's a little bit less attacking, but we'll probably move him up a little bit in game. This guy had a pretty solid Premier League squad, and by Premier League, it's almost entirely Arsenal, except for Wes Brown fitting in there at right back for no reason. Kelvin with the early shot there. This guy, although he was pretty solid, I didn't feel as under pressure in the first half. And as you can see here, Kelvin working his magic. And that's why you put a 5-star skiller in the team. Absolutely awesome. Unfortunately, though, this guy gets a goal back. And it was irritating because there was just nothing I could do. I've got slow defenders, so you'd expect them to be good in the air, but they just weren't. I managed to pull it back to 2-1, and at this point, it became actually quite easy, to be honest. This guy tried to go ultra attacking to sort of stop me, getting the win or whatever, or get a goal back, but all it meant was that I could just then play the counter-attacking football, and, this team wasn't actually too bad at the counter-attack. Perez, as much as I hate to admit it, and he probably, in my opinion, he'll probably leave Newcastle, so I'm not too offended by it, but, he actually played quite well, although he did miss this sitter at the end, and then I, got the tap in, so I wasn't too bothered. But this game ended 4-1. Only got us 493 coins, which is a bit of a shame, but we haven't got that coin bonus at the moment, which is irritating again, but it'll come back around. As we get into the third game, this guy has a ridiculous team. Look at this team. You've got Hazard, you've got Pedro, you've got De Bruyne, you've got Nainggolan, you've got Sturridge and Dumbia up front. I'm not going to lie to you, I was pretty worried because pace is the main thing I'm worried about, especially with that 33 pace centre-back who I just thought would get absolutely dominated. But thankfully, you know, he didn't seem like that good a player. He caused me a little few troubles throughout the game. I moved Kelvin up front in the second half because I wasn't really finding enough sort of penetration was coming through my right midfielder. And then I decided to put on a different centre-back instead of Hill because Hill is so slow. Please replace him at the end of this episode. I'm desperate for him to go. And then, when we're coming up into the second half, Kelvin pulls out some incredible moves. It looks like it has to be, and it isn't. I'm just had so many shots in this game. It was absolutely ridiculous. And Kelvin was absolutely tearing this guy apart, other than his finishing. If this guy had like 80 finishing or 75 finishing, he would be absolutely unstoppable. And I just at the point when I thought, you know what, it's not happening for me this game. You know what happens? We get a goal in the air. I never use crossing, to be honest, and yet somehow we pull it back. I think it was Perez who scored it, and it was absolutely awesome. I was so happy to get that win because, you know, you take what you get when you've got practically no chemistry and a pretty shocking squad. So really happy with that. And we're going to finish the episode pretty much there. We're on 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss, and this is the team. It's going to need some changing, okay? It really does. Please sort out my centre-backs for me. Whether you want to keep the goalkeeper or not, it's totally up to you. You don't have to keep them English. You don't have to worry too much. You could go Spanish. You could go any league in the world, and then we'll work around it. We don't have to have our perfect team now. We don't have to worry too much about chemistry. Let's just get a better centre-back in, probably for both, to be honest. I've decided I'm going to sell these 3 players. And it was absolutely awesome. My voice went there. That was really weird. Kouas, actually, there was none on the market, so I managed to get 8,500 coins for him. Unfortunately, I didn't actually show the footage of the other 2 being sold. But we've ended up on a really, really nice sum of coins, which is really cool. We've got 11,559 coins available to us. And I'm going to say we can get 2 players for you guys and 1 player for me, same as last episode, but it obviously means that we can get more expensive players. If you guys want to just get, if there's enough support for 1 player, if you get, then I'll just buy an expensive player. We'll just work around whatever the comments say. If you guys really want a player and you see someone else has put it as a player that they want as well, make sure you leave it a like because it makes me alerted to the fact that people want him. If you guys still want Zardes, let me know in the comments below because as I say, I think he's going for a little bit cheaper now, still about 5,000 coins, but people will be buying him ready for the MLS Cup because obviously his price will go mega and he'll probably go extinct, to be honest. But if you want Zardes, if you want another player, if you want centre-backs, let me know in the comments below. What formation would you like to do? And also, guys, I'm going to do the foot draft in between this episode and the next episode, so we should have plenty more coins. Cheers, guys.